your dreams.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, and today we're just going to be going over which banners you should summon for the upcoming 4.1. Keep in mind, I always encourage everyone to do their own research. Just don't take my word for it. Listen to other content creators, listen to what other people are saying, and then you can come to your own conclusion to which banner you should pull for. By the way, if you happen to like the video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Majority of the characters that are coming in 4.1, 3 out of 4 are all main DPS characters. Venti is basically the only sub DPS character. Let's talk about Neuvillette first, since he's new and he's also got that drip going on. Neuvillette is going to be a Hydro 5-star catalyst character that's going to be on the field quite often since he's a DPS character. He is going to rely on Hydro reactions in his kit in order for him to deal a lot of damage. His passive, Heir to the Ancient's Authority, is basically whenever he does a Hydro related reaction, he gets a stack that basically powers up his charged attacks, and he can get a max of 3 stacks. This means that he has to do 3 different Hydro reactions in order for him to get the max stacks. Neuvillette is going to excel pretty well in rainbow teams. If we compare him to other Hydro DPSs like Child and Ayato, I do think Neuvillette is going to be pretty free-to-play friendly. He also will have a little bit more flexibility in his teams since he does need 3 different reactions in order for him to get the max stacks and deal the most damage. His elemental skill and elemental burst also scale off of his HP. His elemental skills and burst will also drop this thing called the Hydro Droplet or Source Water Droplets. You don't have to worry about picking these up since they basically get absorbed into Neuvillette automatically. Basically what these Source Water Droplets do is that they increase his charging speed and they'll also heal him. Both of his elemental skill and burst are both AoE. I can only recommend rolling for him if you need a new DPS character. I do think he's going to be new player friendly since all you need is 3 different teammates with 3 different elements and he's basically good to go. As I said before, out of the other 2 Hydro DPSs, Child and Ayato, I think Neuvillette is going to be a little bit more flexible in team comps. Tartaglia Child takes a little bit of an IQ to use because if you're in his E skill too long, you basically fucked up and you might end up resetting the Abyss. Child also needs like a sub DPS as well. Ayato is a little bit more brain dead to use. You basically hit E and then you click. That's basically all you do with Ayato. I think Neuvillette is going to be somewhere down the middle. He's not going to be brain dead to use and he's not going to take a lot of work to use like Child. So I think Neuvillette is going to be a pretty solid Hydro DPS. As for the weapon banner that's going on with Neuvillette, he is sharing a rate up with Hutao, so not only is his weapon getting a rate up, Hutao's weapon, the Homa, will also get a rate up alongside with it. Neuvillette's weapon, the Tome of the Eternal Flow, is basically a weapon that increases his HP and has a crit damage substat. The odd thing about this weapon is it has a passive that basically increases your charge attack damage if your HP increases or decreases. Neuvillette doesn't decrease his own HP, so that basically means he does kind of have to take a hit in order for him to make use out of this weapon. This could be foreshadowing that maybe Furina's kit is going to involve decreasing your team's HP, so maybe Furina is going to help him out with decreasing Neuvillette's HP. The weapon itself does have a pretty good crit damage substat, so if you're looking for like a new crit damage stat stick, then pulling on this weapon banner might be very beneficial. The Homa also has a crit damage substat, so it's also another way to increase your DPS's crit damage. Whether you want to equip this weapon on your other catalyst characters, whether it's Ningguang or Yanfei, you may have to wait for a bit to see if Furina really does decrease your party's HP, because if she does, you can pull this weapon, equip it on Ningguang, and then pull on Furina, and then you basically have a pretty good duo right there. Anyways, I'll talk about Hutao real quick since she's getting a rate up alongside with Neuvillette. Hutao is a Pyro main DPS pull arm user. Hutao is basically a high risk, high reward type character. She deals more damage depending on how low her HP is. So if you're into that type of playstyle, I would definitely recommend pulling for Hutao since she requires you to do that. She's very excellent at what she does. She's pretty simple and easy to use. She gets some pretty good quality of life consolations when she's at C1, but if you learn how to dash cancel, then you probably don't even need that C1. Her best partner is Xingqiu, the Hydro 4-star character, since he is a very good Hydro Applicator. If you don't like Xingqiu, then you probably don't want to pull for Hutao since they both work really well together. I would recommend pulling for Hutao if you're looking for a new DPS and you really like the high risk, high reward type of playstyle. Speaking of high risk, high reward, we also have another character that's high risk, high reward. His name is Wriothesley. Wriothesley is a cryo catalyst character. Even though he is a catalyst character, he is going to be pure melee since he's basically punching the shit out of the enemies. Wriothesley's elemental skill, Ice Fang Rush, will boost the power of his normal attacks and will also give him damage to interruption resistance. When his HP is 50% or higher, it will increase his damage, and he will also lose HP periodically whenever an attack hits the opponent. And his elemental burst, Dark Gold Wolf Bite, which sounds pretty fucking epic if you ask me, will basically deal AoE cryo damage. One of Wriothesley's passives, which is called There Shall Be a Plea for Justice, is when Wriothesley's HP is 60% or less, he gets a stack called the Gracious Rebuke, which basically increases his charge attack damage. His charge attack will not consume stamina and will also basically heal him. You can only get this stack once every 5 seconds. So because of his high risk, high reward playstyle, this is a way for him to recover HP so you don't have to worry about dying when you're playing Wriothesley. Also, Wriothesley has another passive called There Shall Be a Reckoning for Sin. Is basically whenever Wriothesley's HP is increasing or decreasing, he gets a stack that basically increases his attack for like a few seconds. You can only get a max 5 stacks of this passive. Now, compared to other cryo main DPS characters like Ayaka and Ganyu, Wriothesley is, as I said, more of a high risk, high reward playstyle. Ayaka is a melee character that does not have any high risk, high reward. She's also a little more simpler to use since you don't have to constantly watch over her HP. Ganyu is more of a ranged character, so if you like playing ranged DPS characters, and Ganyu's your girl. Now, as for Wriothesley's weapon banner, the Cash Flow Supervision, since Wriothesley is also going to be sharing a banner alongside with Venti, the weapon banner will be alongside with the Elegy of the End. The Elegy of the End is probably one of the best support weapons in the game, so if you have a bow character that's a support character, then I would suggest you pull for the Elegy of the End. As for Wriothesley's signature weapon, Cash Flow Supervision, it increases his attack. It will also increase his normal and charge attack damage whenever Wriothesley's HP increases or decreases. The weapon does have a crit rate for a substat, so if you're struggling to build crit rate for Wriothesley, then maybe pulling for this weapon can help you out. Wriothesley is also a cryo character, so he does have access to the cryo resonance, so building crit rate for Wriothesley should be a little easy. The only hard part is getting that crit damage. I can only recommend pulling for Wriothesley if you're looking for another DPS character and you like the high risk, high reward playstyle that Wriothesley has. Alright, so now on to Venti real quick. Venti, when he was first released, he was kind of like the top of the food chain. He was the best character in the game. Now Venti is no longer as useful as he used to be thanks to Kazuha and the amount of heavy enemies that are in floor 12. Venti's main gimmick was basically a battery and a crowd control character. However, we do have better batteries now like Raiden A, and crowd control is no longer as useful as it used to be since a lot of the new enemies are a lot more heavier and they cannot be crowd controlled. Venti is pretty useful on floor 11 since you are going to need some crowd control in that floor, but on floor 12 he is not as useful. I can only recommend pulling for Venti if you want your domain runs to be a little bit more quickly since crowd control there is very helpful, or if you just want to have some fun in the overworld, you know, yeah, pull Venti. That's basically the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think. Any comments, concerns about any of these characters, let me know in the comments. If you happen to like the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye bye now. Come again soon.